Our journey begins when less than 5 million people inhabited the Earth. The Fertile Crescent in the eastern Mediterranean, 10,000 BC. The site of a groundbreaking innovation that gave rise to one of our most important global networks. In these fertile soils, our ancient ancestors first planted seeds. What might seem insignificant changed humanity forever.
Planting seeds is hugely significant in human history because it's a completely different way of feeding ourselves.
We went from being hunters, gatherers, foragers, like we've been for most of our history, to beginning to be farmers.
But farming wasn't restricted to the Middle East. Independently, other tribes in different parts of the world began to harvest crops. In Mexico, the Olmecs planted maize around 9,000 years ago. 8,000 years ago, in the Peruvian Andes, the first potatoes were pulled from the ground. The first rice was sown in the Pearl River Valley in China 7,000 years ago. And by 3,000 years BC, wheat had spread into Europe. Agriculture remains our single greatest activity.
The ability to peer down on our Earth from space lets us see our enormous imprint on the planet.
We use 10% of the Earth's land surface to grow our crops, and more than double that to rear our livestock. The largest cattle farm in the world is bigger than Israel. And we grow wheat on an area the equivalent of Greenland. To feed us takes almost half of the land on the planet, a figure that grows every day. But farming did more than provide us with food. It radically transformed our human behavior.
Farming allows us, for the first time, to spend some of our time, at least, on other pursuits, not just worrying about food 24/7.
For tens of thousands of years, we lived in small tribes of hunters and gatherers, constantly roaming for food. But farming meant we could settle.
It's really what allows us, for the first time, to stay in one place. We don't have to run around looking for our food anymore.
In these fledgling settlements, we strengthened another human trait: cooperation. And by working together, we could share new ideas and skills, allowing our ingenuity to flourish.
Those people can go off and specialize in new roles in society. They can become expert carpenters or weavers or blacksmiths. And it's through this process, founded on agriculture, that you build complex, capable civilizations.
With our newfound skills, we constructed our first civilizations, the ruins of which can still be seen today, found in regions where we first learned to farm. Farming allowed us to build our first cities, like Jericho, Erbil, and Byblos, the oldest of which has been inhabited for 11,000 years. These are the roots of our modern world.
This simple act of planting a seed transformed the way we are as a species. It made it possible to congregate in settlements, which eventually became cities and the global connected society that we have today.